So welcome to this final video where we're going to discuss the final chapter, which is a conclusion. And as you can see in the instructions for the assignment, the subsections here are very clear and limited. And I think it's good that you have this kind of clear subsections to write a clear chapter. So we start with 6.1, which is a wrap up of the whole project that you have done. And you don't need to write a lot in here because it's just basically a summary. What have you done? What have you learned in a way, like try to signpost the findings from your project. That's what you have to write in here. So it shouldn't be that long. I guess one paragraph is enough. You don't need to write a lot in wrap up. And then we move to limitations, which is a very important part of your research project. And you need to recognize that in your study, not everything was perfect. There are things, especially methodologically, that we couldn't do. Like, for example, maybe our sample is not super big. Maybe our sample also in the qualitative interviews is also not that big. Maybe we could have done more. Maybe we could have done a second survey to see if there is evolution in the development of the variables or something like that. So these are mostly methodological limitations that you need to disclose. You don't need to write a lot. Maybe uh, just discuss two or three limitations from your project. And you can discuss some quant or some qual, some overall limitations, and that's it. And connected to those limitations, you also need to propose future research ideas. So, because we had those limitations, what would you do better in the future? If you had more time, if you had more resources, what would you do? Or if someone is willing to do a similar study in this topic, what would you suggest to do based on what you learn? Usually it's connected with the limitations because it's trying to kind of say like, if we had these limitations, how can we move forward? Or to open to new possibilities, like maybe new methodologies or new geographical regions, or maybe adding a new topic or something like that into that complex relationship that you studied. Then in 6.4, I think we talk a lot about contribution, especially in chapter 5, theoretical contribution, but this is more like practical contribution. So it's what can people in the practical world can learn from your study? I think in our case, in this project, it is about students. What can they learn? Maybe teachers, maybe managers, maybe policymakers. What could they learn from this study? And connected to that in a way is also societal implications, which is quite similar to practical implications, but just like a macro level. What can society learn overall from what you have done in this project? And if we take a look at the conclusions from the good assignment, I think it's quite good what they have wrote. They included all the subsections. They included several limitations, the typical ones on the size and these kind of things, future research ideas, and then very shortly practical and social implications. So I don't think you need to write like that much, but don't forget to include all of these points. In your dissertation, this actually counts for many points. It's not that difficult to write and it gives you many points. So I think that's it. Now we have finished the whole project with all the chapters, and I think now you know how it works.